The rain poured down over the city like 1,000 tiny needles as Clara Johnson sat quietly in her aging sedan, waiting for her next passenger. Her shift as a nighttime driver for hire wasn't glamorous, but it was honest work, and it helped her pay the rent for the small apartment she shared with her 6-year-old son, Noah. Life as a single mother was nothing like she had imagined when she once dreamed of fairy tales and happy endings. Instead, Clara's days were filled with double shifts, grocery budgets that stretched thinner than paper, and the ache of loneliness that came when she tucked Noah into bed and faced the silence of her small living room. That night, as her phone buzzed with a new ride request, she sighed and accepted without hesitation. Every fare meant a few more dollars toward Noah's school supplies, toward food, toward keeping the lights on. The name that flashed on her screen was simple: Adrian. She had no idea she was about to pick up Adrian Hale, the youngest CEO of one of the largest investment firms in the city, a man whose face graced the covers of magazines but whose heart was weighed down by secrets few ever saw. When Clara pulled up outside an upscale restaurant, her windshield blurred with rain, she noticed him immediately. A tall man in a tailored suit stumbled through the glass doors, his tie loosened, his dark hair damp, his eyes glassy with alcohol. His expensive shoes splashed into puddles as he looked around clumsily, finally spotting her car. "You Clara?" he slurred, bending slightly to peer through the passenger window. "Yes," Clara answered softly, stepping out quickly to help steady him. "Let's get you home." She was surprised by his weight against her shoulder, surprised too by the sadness etched into his face beneath the drunken mask. They began the drive in silence, the hum of the rain and the wipers filling the space between them. Adrian leaned back against the seat, closing his eyes. Clara tried to focus on the road, but curiosity tugged at her. She could feel something heavy radiating from him, something deeper than just a night of overindulgence. Out of nowhere, his voice broke the quiet. "Do you ever feel like, no matter how much you have, you're still empty?" His words slurred, but his tone was genuine, raw. Clara's fingers tightened on the wheel. She hesitated before answering. "Yes. More often than I'd like to admit." Adrian opened his eyes slightly, turning his head to look at her. "You do? You don't even know who I am." "I don't need to," Clara replied. "Loneliness looks the same on everyone." Her words sank deep into him. For the first time in years, someone wasn't interested in his wealth, his power, or his success. Someone had looked past all that and seen the man drowning beneath it. When they arrived at his luxurious penthouse, Clara helped him out again, her hand steady under his arm. Standing at his door, Adrian fumbled with his keys, then turned to her. His drunken eyes softened with a kind of sincerity that caught her off guard. "What's your name again?" "Clara," she said. "Clara," he repeated slowly, as if memorizing it. "Thank you, for not treating me like everyone else does." Clara offered him a small smile, but in her heart, she dismissed it as nothing more than drunken gratitude. She turned and walked back into the rain, never imagining that the lonely CEO she had just driven home would find her again. Never imagining that her life was about to change forever. The following week, Clara's life continued as usual. She woke up before dawn, packed Noah's lunch, dropped him off at school, then rushed to her cafe job before heading into another late-night driving shift. She didn't think twice about Adrian Hale. To her, he was just another passenger from another night. But fate, it seemed, had other ideas. One morning, after she kissed Noah goodbye at the school gates, she noticed a sleek black car pull up. Out stepped Adrian, sober, polished, and every bit the powerful CEO the world admired. But his gaze wasn't cold or distant, it was searching. And when his eyes found hers, Clara's breath caught. "Clara," he said softly as he approached. She froze, confused. How did he even remember her name? "Mr. Hale, what are you doing here?" she asked, flustered. "I wanted to see you again," he admitted without hesitation. "That night. I was at my worst. You didn't judge me. You saw me. Do you know how rare that is?" Clara shifted nervously. "I was just doing my job." But Adrian shook his head. No, you were kind. And that kindness has stayed with me. His eyes then fell on Noah, who clung shyly to his mother's hand. Adrian crouched slightly, offering the boy a warm smile. And who's this young man? This is my son, Noah, Clara said cautiously. Adrian's smile widened. Hi, Noah. Do you like pancakes? Because I know the best place in the city. Noah's eyes lit up with excitement, and for the first time in a long while, Clara saw him look at a man the way he once looked at the father who had left them. Her heart ached, but she said nothing. From that day forward, Adrian kept finding ways to be around. He visited the cafe where she worked, insisting he liked the coffee there better than anywhere else in the city. He offered her rides home after long shifts, showed up with groceries when he noticed her fridge was nearly empty, and even helped Noah with his math homework when Clara was too exhausted to think. At first, Clara resisted. Life had taught her to be cautious. She had been hurt, abandoned, left to pick up the pieces alone. But Adrian wasn't trying to buy her affection, he was simply there. Day after day, moment after moment, proving that he wasn't going to disappear. One night, after her shift at the cafe, she found him waiting with 2 cups of coffee. Don't look at me like that, he said when she raised an eyebrow. It's just coffee, Clara. And maybe some company. They sat together on a park bench, sipping in silence. After a while, Adrian spoke. The night you drove me home, I had just closed the biggest deal of my career. Everyone expected me to celebrate, but I felt nothing. Empty. I realized that all the money in the world couldn't fill the loneliness I carried. And then you, this ordinary, extraordinary woman, treated me like a person. Not a CEO. Not a name in a headline. Just Adrian. And I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. Clara's eyes stung with unshed tears. Adrian, I can't give you the life you're used to. I'm just trying to raise my son and keep food on the table. I don't have time for fairy tales. Adrian reached for her hand, his touch firm and warm. Maybe this isn't a fairy tale. Maybe it's real. 2 people who've been lonely for too long finding a way to not be lonely anymore. For the first time, Clara didn't pull away. Weeks turned into months, and their bond deepened. Adrian became a steady presence in both Clara and Noah's lives. He helped with school projects, joined them for simple dinners, and filled their tiny apartment with laughter and warmth. Slowly, Clara's walls crumbled, and she began to believe that maybe, just maybe, she deserved happiness too. Then one evening, while Noah was playing on the living room floor, he looked up and innocently asked, Mommy, can Adrian stay forever? I like him. He makes you smile. The question struck Clara like lightning. She looked at Adrian, who was frozen, his eyes shimmering with emotion. Slowly, he stood and stepped closer to her. Clara, he whispered, cupping her face gently, I don't want to just visit. I don't want to just pass through. I want to stay, with you, with Noah, with both of you. If you'll let me. Tears spilled down Clara's cheeks as years of loneliness melted away. She nodded, her voice trembling. Yes, stay. And in that moment, Adrian Hale, the CEO who had once drowned his emptiness in whiskey, found everything he had been searching for. Not in the boardrooms, not in the skyscrapers, but in the warmth of a woman who had nothing but love to give and a little boy who needed a father. Clara's life, once defined by struggle and solitude, blossomed into something she had only dared to dream of. And sometimes, the people we least expect enter our lives at the very moment we need them most, turning an ordinary night into the beginning of forever.